Scheckter. I've often thought about that, and I think it just came naturally. Look, there is a family history. My uncle raced pre-war, but I wasn't alive then, so I can't say that impressed me. But my family were all in the motor industry, and we were brought up around racing. You know, East London, where I lived all my life, had races from 1951 on the beachfront. I was 4 years old then, and we used to go until eventually, I remember as a 4 or 5 year old, we used to race down the hill in the neighborhood. There was a hill, and I remember that if I didn't win, I was pissed off, and then when I did win too much, they handicapped me, and then I quit the racing. But we did, my brother and I both started racing like buzz bikes, and then I got motorbikes. I raced motorbikes for 4 years before I changed to cars. And then when Jody left to go overseas, I saw that there was a future in cars. And by then already the bug had bitten by a long way, and I mean, we just wanted to race, and it was just there.
Okay.
When we were younger, we had bicycles. We always raced, and I had to win, basically. And then I got buzz bikes, and every afternoon after school, we would, 10, 15 of us would race, and I had to win that. And if I didn't, we'd tune the bikes at the next race. So I was always racing, not saying to myself, oh, one day I'm going to be a world champion. I was just racing because I wanted to race, and I loved it, you know. Saturday morning of a race, I always wondered what I was doing there, because I could be lying on the beach having a beer and not having this tension and pressure. But I must say, the minute I put my helmet on, I was in my own world, and it was wonderful. And from there, you know, then you were in race mode. And what I love about racing, because even today I do still drive a bit, is that when you're in the car, everything in your mind disappears. It's just the track and you and maybe the gauges, if you're looking at them. And that any troubles you've got in your life, any worldwide problems, any children's problems, they all disappear. Everything, it's just such a peaceful world. It's just you and the car and the track. It's a wonderful place to be.
That's what you had initially, or always?
Always,
every
yeah.
time you raced?
Yes.
It was like a...
I went through a divorce and won the championship. And the only time I thought about my story was when I was sitting in the pits waiting for them to adjust the car or whatever. But when I was in the car, that disappeared.
Nothing else mattered.
That didn't... Yeah, a lot of athletes, if they were going through tough times, like at golf, when Tiger was found out, you didn't play very well for a while, but you know, you've got 5 minutes between each shot to think of your troubles. With racing, you know, the next corner's coming. You can't think about the last corner, or you can't think about any outside problems.
So you had to be, your mind had to be focused to know to go through the curves and all of that. Okay.
Yeah, the corner's coming, you know, and if you're not on it, you'll be in the wall. And in our era, people died a lot. It wasn't like today, nobody dies. I mean, there was a bad crash this year where a youngster did die, but in Formula One in my era, people died a lot. So, and even today, they have to concentrate, because if you don't, you have to be... had lots, my body's pretty ruined today from crashing and hitting walls. I had a huge one in Cape Town. The cars broke and flattened the pit armcos in those days, and some people were badly hurt and killed in the pits. I was lucky to get out of it. That was one of the big ones. And a huge one in Sorrel, where we touched at Kailani at top speed and both ended up in the wall. Cars both destroyed, written off. Formula One, I never had any majors. I was quite how can I say, I was quite consistent in a Formula One car. It was what I grew up with. Saloon cars wasn't my forte. I loved single-seaters, which is from the junior Formula, like that red car there. That's what I started in, one of those things. It's called a Formula 4. that red car. Very similar to that. I had started that in 71, went overseas in 72, back here in 73, racing for Gunston. And what I remember most about when you stepped up the ladder was the sound of those cars. It was so amazing. And you can yell, that's a simulator car in the background there. 89, I actually stopped it in 85. We were unlucky.
That's the year I was born.
Oh, really? 85, we went to race in America, but that was a height of apartheid in South Africa, or anti-apartheid. And remember, well, you won't remember, but sport was banned for us, probably worldwide. They stopped playing rugby with us, they stopped playing cricket. And when we were, well, in 77, when I went to Japan, they arrested me at the airport because I was coming to race there. And we didn't class Japanese as whites in 1970s. So when a jockey came here to race, they wouldn't let him race, a horse jockey. And I think that was sort of retaliation. As I walked through customs at Japan, they grabbed me. They put me under like a room arrest with a guard for the whole night, interrogated me all night, put me on an aeroplane back to France at 4 o'clock the next morning, out of there. So in 85, when we got this full-time sports car drive, Sorrel, myself, with Creepy Crawley, all South African, it was too much. And they threatened to pick up the Creepy Crawley stores, etc., etc. So we had to withdraw. And that was basically, I'd committed to that series, I'd given up South Africa. And then after the one race that year, we did a few the year before, we had to put out. So I didn't race then again until 1989. They asked me to come back and race another saloon car. But that was when I had that huge crash, the car broke. First race, first lap, and into the pits. And that was basically the end of my mental. Because in 89 I was already 42, and my heart wasn't in it after that.
Okay.
I did have a business at the time,
okay.
And I then went back to business. Went back into the business. I had a partner, and he ran it whilst I was racing. So I went back into the business, and then I didn't work for 15 years. I retired early, and then we came to Joburg, and a friend brought me into the car business in Joburg, and that's what we do now.
So that's what you do now. And so you're in the used car business at the moment?
Used cars, yeah.
Okay.
I specialize a lot in BMs because when I raced for BM, I got to like BM, and I think they're a great road car. And then Pablo has been letting me drive his Ferraris for the last 10 years, and I've been doing the hot laps for them and all that kind of stuff, and a few races. So I have done a few guest races. I did the hill climb at Nabihah for about 5 years. I did that and enjoyed that really much. I still like driving on the track, but racing is something different because then you're on the stopwatch and all that. But the track days, I go as fast as it makes me happy.
Yes, that's good. Thank you so much for your time. That was great.
Hi, I'm Scheckter. I used to be a racing driver when I was younger. I was very competitive in South Africa. Racing internationally, you had to have the right team. I didn't have that opportunity in Formula 1, although I did do 20 Grand Prix. And I did race for Sarah for the Melbourne, the sports cars in America, and I raced saloons in South Africa. Now that I'm too old, I'm in a car business called Scheckter. I'm partners with a guy called Marcel Angel, who's got Autohouse Angel in Cape Town, also racing driver. What else can I tell you other than I love ZA?